Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the demo today. The demo today is going to consist of how to do the green apple with colored pencils. I know that several of you have the supplies at home that I sent you home with. You had all the green colors basically that we used in the digital assignment. We also have some red, we have black and white. I also gave you some sketchbook paper, but I also gave you some cut paper, some high quality paper. You probably have either a gray tone or like a tan tone or a brown tone paper. All right, so it's not white. We're not working on white paper. We're going to be using white color pencil, so it's important that we don't use white paper. That white paper will be our neutral sort of base. All we need to get started is going to be the white color pencil. You could say it says Prismacolor on it, black, and we need a regular pencil. We don't need a regular pencil for long, but we do want to start off in regular pencil. Now, on the paper that I gave you, the cut paper, the tone neutral paper that's gray or brown, please don't draw this right in the center of the piece of paper. I'd like to do more than one thing on that piece of paper and save it. So you should work on one bottom corner somewhere. How big should you draw? Well, you should be using the visual that I gave you over here for your reference. But what I'll tell you is that you shouldn't draw a tiny little apple. You shouldn't draw this big enough to fill the page. How big should it be? You should literally fold a dollar bill in half, all right? And basically use that as how big you should draw this, okay? About the size of a folded dollar bill in half, all right? Don't draw a teeny tiny apple. Don't draw a gigantic one. The tiny one, I will know it's small when you submit it, and it's not easy to color. Really, really big is just making a lot more work for yourself. So to start off on how big to work on, you should take a dollar bill, fold it in half, and then basically use that as a reference. It should be about the same size as that folded size, the long side, not the short side. We're going to start working in regular pencil, okay? We are going to work in regular pencil to start with the outline. The outline that we did on the computer was the pen tool, and we could make that disappear. This pencil line will not disappear, so it's important that we make it really, really light, okay? We could draw it nice and sketchy. Every apple is not exactly the same. You don't need to worry about exactly making it perfect. Please don't find a circle and trace it. No, I've never seen an apple be a perfect sphere, all right? It'll have little dents and bruises in it. It will not be a perfect sphere. So I'm going to draw that. I'm even going to draw my little stem right now. And that's where we're going to get started. And this is an important part that for some reason people don't like to listen to. Do this in regular pencil, okay? Regular pencil. Don't draw it with the black color pencil. Just like we've always done before, we always start with the light color first. In this case, it's going to be white. You're going to find that the process of doing this is going to be the same exact process that we did digitally. I'm going to go over the black and white portion of it today, and tomorrow I'm going to go over layering the colors. We do more layers of colors on paper, but they are relatively similar to the idea of working digitally, where we're going to do more with yellow, then lime peel, then apple green, then dark green. I don't want anybody to sort of guess their way or move their way ahead to that until I demo that video. And I don't want anybody to start adding color to this until I've checked your drawing. Now to start off, we're going to work with the white. And you can see I'm not pressing down very hard. The paper I've given you is special paper, high quality paper that has a little bit of texture to it. You can see the bumps and grooves of the actual paper. They call that the tooth of the paper, like teeth in your mouth, the tooth. We want to have a paper with a little bit of tooth so we have more area for this waxy pencil to sort of catch onto. We want to start off, we're not going to make it super, super dark. What I mean by that, or press down really hard. This area of the apple is really bright white in the photograph. I could press down this hard with my colored pencil on the paper and fill it in white. We don't want to do it like this. We're going to work our way up to this, but it's more important that we maintain some of the tooth of the paper so that other layers of color can attach itself to what we're doing. Now, what we're going to use is, I'm using basically the grayness or the tanness of the paper to kind of be my middle tone. And the most important part about working by hand with this is we really want to fade out. We don't want to have it look like a yin-yang, or that I pressed super duper hard and it's just like a light side and a dark side. What you could see is it goes from pretty bright over here and kind of fades out towards the center. I'm going to add some white over here as well, where you have the reflection in that part of where the stem is. I've got a little bit going on there. I've got a tiny little bit on the top edge of this. I can also add a little bit to my stem itself. We can actually work on the stem now as we're working. All right, so this would be my start with the white. Notice that I've kind of stopped in the middle and I've sort of faded out. Now, please don't tune me out. Please pay attention to the next part. This is important. When we start with the black, number one is we can always go back and make this thing darker. So again, just like everything we've done, if you're going to make a mistake, make it that you went a little bit too light. We can always make it darker. Number two, we do not want to mix black and white together. The gray of this apple will be the gray or neutral color of your paper. We don't want to overlap black and white together with colored pencil, unlike what happened with some of our apple on the digital thing. Digitally, it will stay as gray, and when we layer over top of it with color, it will look like the color. When I put yellow on top of the black, it's going to start looking like green. When I put the yellow on top of white, it's going to look like bright yellow. But if I put yellow on top of gray color pencil, it's going to look like puke. So, what I want you to do is, again, fade out with the black, but the black and the white should not touch and should not overlap. So what you could see is I have sort of a neutral zone in the middle over here. That neutral color is just the color of the paper. And what's important is that the white faded out and the black faded out. And as far as that darkest part, we're not going to make it really, really dark. You could see how softly I put it down and how basically you could still see the texture of the paper. This is just a base coat. Number one, start with white. Fade light to dark. And remember, it will not be as bright or as dark as you need it to be. Number two, utilize the neutral tone of the paper and make sure that is your gray tone. Don't mix black and white together like this. This inevitably, when you go over it, it starts looking gray. When you put a color on top of it, it does not look like we need it to look. This is step one on this part. You realize that it's just like on digitally. It should take you about 6-7 minutes. I want you to photograph this thing, take a not a screenshot, I'm sorry. Use your phone to take a picture of it, all right? Post that picture to the assignment. I will check this. I don't want you to move on to the next step unless I've seen this. It should look like mine. Realize it starts to look like an apple, but it's not nearly as done looking as our original picture. All right, I'm going to end the video now, and tomorrow I'm going to start us on the layering of colors and how to do that. Please don't jump ahead. I hope you guys have a good time with this. I know you guys are waiting to work on paper again, so please, if you have any issues or anything else, just let me know, and I will address them as necessary. All right.